Describe to me the feeling you had when you walked out of that prison cell for the first day and saw daylight, without a cage around you.
When one of my original attorneys, Diane Frapier, told me that she had this young attorney that she wanted me to talk to because she can probably help me get my clemency granted, I told her no. I said, I'm tired of dealing with these lawyers. I'm not giving them no more money. This is how you become used to being in jail. And then in 3 years to a person who ain't been in jail, you're like, man, what? But I hadn't been there so many years, man. This was my new world, right? I'm like, man, I got 3 years and something to do, man. I'm just gonna do this shit, So my lawyer, Diana, convinced me to talk to Brittany about my case. And I'll never forget this. So the administration made arrangements for me to talk to this lady on the phone for about an hour. I told her about my case. She was moved by it. She cried after we got off the phone because she couldn't understand why they robbed me of my whole life at that age for selling drugs, right? So, make a long story short, she convinced me after that hour conversation to let her, she said, I'm gonna get you home. She said, you got the prime case for these clemencies. Just let me do it, And I said, okay, I ain't got nothing to lose, you know what I mean? Make a long story short, a little bit, 2 months after that conversation with her, my unit manager comes to me and tells me to come to his office at a certain time. I got an attorney call. And something told me, with the smile that he had when he told me to come to his office, I said, man, they done gave me this shit, right? It was an eerie feeling though, right? An eerie feeling. So I goes in there, and everybody know me I'm always popular in these prisons because, you got MC Hammer coming to visit me, you got E40 coming to visit me, you got Gary Payton, you got Too Short. These dudes don't come in prison, man. They don't, man, but they come to see me, right? So I'm always this popular guy on these compounds, right? So when I go in this office, I see these secretary chicks. They seem like they jolly, They seem jolly. But I know why they jolly, right? They didn't heard what this phone conversation's gonna be about. So I get on the phone, right? And so my attorney, Brittany, she says, hey, Daryl. She a country girl. I said, what's up, Britt? And I can hear her chuckling. And then she said, Diana on the phone. Now, mind you, Diana was my prior attorney, but Diana found Brittany for me. She said, guess what? Ah! They started hollering on the phone. And she said, Obama granted Joe clemency today. You going home, Daryl. And and I'm telling you, man, like, you would have thought, like, man, what's wrong with this fool, right? I just, sat there and I was like, yeah, right? Like this real calm type of, yeah, right? And they just screamed and, and they thanked the Lord and like it was his testimony on his phone, And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, I'm taking it in, And one of them said, how you feel? And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said it's something sarcastic, I said something like, shit, they overdue or some shit I said, I didn't, hey man, I done been in this motherfucker like 27 years, man. Like I didn't adapt to my environment, So, make a long story short, so from the day that I got granted it, it's a process that they do. So I wasn't gonna go home until October. They granted it in August. I wasn't gonna go home till October the 16th of 2016. So they congratulate me in the office, the staff, and then when I come out, now all these guys know I'm waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear this news. And man, when I came out of the office, it was some dudes when they said, And I told them, man, some of them guys started crying. And these is men, man. These ain't no, these is, that's how happy and joyful they was for me, right? And, I'm keeping my cool and shit, And it's a trip, right? Because now I'm like, now all these thoughts running through my head. And I'm like, damn, right? Now I'm trying to just figure out like the first thing I want to do when I get out, And my partners told me like from that day until when I left, they saw something in my and they saw something in my face that was, I don't walk around sad in prison. My spirits is always high though, but they say they saw a glow in me, man. It seemed like that I just was given, a second chance at life though. Like, it was, I didn't even realize though, they told me it was a pep in my step. That they say it seemed like, man, I was like in heaven, like just my whole, that energy just off of me, And so, them 2 months, man, and something was the longest 2 months out of all them years. I bullshit you not, man, because I couldn't sleep. My mind, I was thinking about, okay, what I'm gonna do, man, to get my life back in order. Like because my mind is racing, And so that time came, and I have been suppressing my feelings, right? So the day I get released, I go and do my dress out, put my clothes on and all that. All the staff that heard the news, they was coming to me, congratulating me and saying they should have been let you out and all that. So you got to go through R&D. They got to fingerprint you. They got to take pictures. They got to ID. It's a long, drawn out process you got to go through, man. Like it's crazy, but this is what they got to do, man. Everybody got to sign off on before they release you from federal custody. All these different departments. You got to go through, right? So after I went through all the process, man, I started walking through this corridor that you got to walk to that front door. And as I'm walking, now I got all these pent up emotions in me, right? And man, when I seen that door, the cry that came out of me, man, I never knew I had them emotions. So I said to the officer, I said, hey, man, I apologize, man. I said, man, I never knew this was going to feel this way. And I never forget it. He said, Reed, hey, man, the time you just did it, man, you should have been crying. He said, so all that you've been, holding in, that's the best thing you could have did what you just did. And man, I ain't gonna lie, man, I was crying like a crocodile, man. It was a cold reality, man. And then when I got to the parking lot, out that last door, and I seen that parking lot when my visitors come to visit and come in, man, it was an out of body experience though, man. It was like a feeling I couldn't explain though, like man, And then when I got in the van, it's a camp there in Sheridan, Oregon. I'm in Sheridan, Oregon. It's a camp there, and it's some guys out there cleaning up. Because when you camp, you can be outside the premises. You low security, minimum security. Some guys that know me, seen me. And you would have thought they was getting out of prison, man. So the word spread immediately. Them dudes got on the phone, calling around and telling them. So I go to the airport. And man, when I got to that airport and seen all these people moving around on these cell phones, if you'd have seen the expression on my face, I was in another world, man. Like I was, the look that was on me was like a person that you just let out of a cave. I mean, that's how long I have been gone. Like when I seen all these people on their phones with their head down texting and bumping into each other, man, it freaked me out, man. Because it was so, these people was moving so fast, right? And then in prison, you got to be kind, man. You got to say, excuse me if you bump into somebody, man. You know, you got to say, excuse me. You gotta, because it's a respect thing. So when I see, you people bumping into each other with their head down or whatnot, it freaked me out. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. And so I'll never forget it. My girlfriend took a picture of me. And man, I was standing, if you see how I was standing there looking, you might have felt sorry for me. Because you realize that, man, this is a whole nother world this dude is in. And it's going to take some adapting for him to adapt to this new reality,